Hello, everyone. My name is Jennifer Sandoval, and I'm going to be talking to you today about greenwashing and informed consumerism. This is a phrase that is new for a lot of people, but once we start talking about it, you'll notice that you see it everywhere. So I'm Jen, right? I've been researching and using natural alternatives since 2014. So I'm kind of a rookie in this world, but I have dedicated myself to learning so much about it in the last 5 years. I used to be a teacher. I just left that position a few years ago to dedicate myself fully to my family and to natural solutions and teaching about essential oils with doTERRA. During that time, I also became a birth doula. I love serving women during childbirth and helping them to have the birth experience that they really want to have. I'm also a gold leader for doTERRA in the state of New Mexico, which means that I've taught a lot of classes and I know some things. I love learning, I love dreaming, and I love to sing. So when we're talking about greenwashing, have you noticed the rise in demand for natural products? Even, gosh, how do I say this? Most people will opt for something natural over something not, I feel like at this point, if they're equal. So that rise in demand for those natural products was definitely noticed by production companies, by those companies that make different products. So people want clean products. That is not even a debatable thing. They want safe, clean products. The demand for natural products has been increasing steadily, about 7% each year. And natural products industry is now estimated to be $224 billion market. That does include organic food as well. So take that into account on that $224 billion. But you can see that most of the products that people are getting come from the grocery store, right? Mass market, big box retailers. That's where people are getting most of their products. That green area on the pie chart, 59%. Natural and specialty stores also provide about 27% of those products. So we're talking about Sprouts, Natural Grocers, gosh, what else? GNC, places, Vitamin Cottage, things like that. The next largest section, it does go down quite a bit, but 5% of those natural and organic products are being distributed through multi-level marketing, network marketing companies such as doTERRA. You can also buy those things online on the internet. A very small percentage are getting them from their practitioners. And then, of course, there's always mail order, TV, radio, things like that. So people are definitely buying natural products. That is for sure. And why do they want them? Children, right? Who here has kids and would gladly let them go rummage underneath the sink and touch all those chemicals? This is why I got started with natural products 5 years ago. I was pregnant with my first child, and when I learned that Johnson & Johnson was actually carcinogenic, it was actually some of the most toxic stuff you could get, and that the United States has its own formula that is banned in other countries, basically my brain exploded. Basically, everything that I thought I knew was turned upside down. I had a little bit of exposure to the more natural world because I had a position as the permaculture director at a charter school. So we learned about organic gardening and sustainability, but really that was all new to me. And then when I was pregnant with my first child, then it really hit home. I wanted to do things naturally for the kids at the school, but I really feel like it wasn't until it was my child that I started diving in and really looking at the safety of everything. A lot of people have allergies. That has been on the rise, if you haven't noticed. More and more children have allergies, and the kinds of allergies that people are having are more severe than just, a little stuffy nose or a little bit of itch. More and more people are needing EpiPens, allergy shots, and treatment for that. Natural products also help you, ding, 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 to reduce toxins. We'll talk about that more, but the amount of endocrine disruptors, that are present in many of the products that we use has had a direct impact on the fertility rates in our country, and not only the fertility rates, but how the reproductive system works. And we're seeing children in puberty younger and younger. We're also seeing more respiratory issues, more brain health issues. Those are all related to the toxins in our environment. So by choosing natural products, we're able to reduce the amount of toxins that we're exposed to. And just wanting safer options. I think that that's the biggest thing, is like, people don't want to be afraid of their shampoo. That seems ridiculous. Or their dish soap, or their, Tylenol, pain relief, things like that. People want safe options that they don't have to worry about the side effects. And this is especially true in the realm of children. That's totally my world. So if you don't have kids, I think you can probably understand what I'm getting from. That's definitely my world. And a lot of the people that I work with have children that they care about as well. So why do you want natural products? I'd love to hear why this is important to you. So feel free to comment and let us know, why do you want natural products? Is this something that's new to you? Is it something that you're in the middle of this transition? Is it something that you've been doing for a long time and you've been able to help other people with? Tell us why it's important to you. So the rise in natural options, that automatically followed the rise in demand for natural products by consumers the market will provide. So that the rise in natural options on the market has definitely increased. And this is what we're talking about with greenwashing. So the quote unquote green product boom, the increase in demand has led to more natural companies. Notice this in quotes. Natural companies adding products to the market, and established, trusted companies creating natural versions or new products. Most people assume that products available for purchase have been proven safe, tested for safety, and are overseen by government regulation. We will dive into that in a second, because that's not the case. But to go back to the top, if you see, trusted companies creating natural versions, I just saw a Johnson & Johnson commercial the other day, since I brought them up earlier, and they were talking about how now they have this new gentle formula that's now safer than anything, and they've removed all these chemicals, and aren't they a wonderful company for doing the right thing? No, you're not. You're a bunch of jerks who got called out, and you're still trying to work the system and still trying to do all these loopholes by creating this natural version that honestly is still toxic. The word natural is used very, very loosely. So those trusted companies, you'll notice, go to any grocery store, and they usually have their traditional formula and then something more natural. What it does for that company in a business sense is it introduces new products to market. They're able to market to more people. There's more items on the shelf to confuse consumers. More natural companies, so the new companies popping up as natural. Of course, there's a big pull for that. And you really have to be an informed consumer and dig in and see, what are these ingredients? What is this company's history? What are they about? Where are they sourcing from? All those questions. Most people, like we said, assume that there's some safety or some government regulation, and that's not the case. There is almost no regulation for household cleaning products, fragrances, cosmetics, personal care products. Companies are expected to follow the honor system. You can dive in. I dove in and looked at all the FDA stuff, the USDA stuff. There's no testing, guys. Like, that's not happening. Just because it's on the shelf and it has a clean label that makes it look like everything's been done, that is not the case. And we're trusting companies to do the right thing. And basically, everyone is innocent until proven guilty. However, when you get into these giant corporations, I'm just going to keep using the example of Johnson & Johnson, right? They're not only baby shampoo, they're also connected with big pharma. Johnson & Johnson is a huge provider of funding for research in pharmaceuticals, and they have a direct gain by investing in cancer drugs, in infertility drugs. They know that they produce those issues, so now they are investing in the long game of those medications. They make people sick, and then they profit from their illness. So the honor system really needs to go, and we need to have some accountability for those companies. However, in the meantime, we need to be informed consumers. So unfortunately, a lot of that responsibility comes to us looking at labels and using some apps that I'll show you at the end of this presentation. But we have to know what's going on. Just because it has these, see on the picture here, Greenworks and Mrs. Meyer's. Mrs. Meyer's is like a huge thing right now. Have you all seen the ads for Grove Collaborative? Guys, that stuff is not natural. I mean, the bamboo paper towels, that's a cool idea for sure. But the Miss Meyer's spray stuff is totally full of fragrances and chemicals. The Honest Company had several lawsuits against them for not being honest. So you're going to see a lot of that happening. And I'm going to give you some tools to be able to recognize that. So the FDA and the USDA. I saw a great post on someone's Facebook feed today that said, like, I remember when I used to think that FDA approved meant that it was safe. How little I knew then. And it's true, because a lot of people, trust the FDA, trust the USDA to make sure that we're safe. And unfortunately, that's not the case. The FDA does not pre-approve product labels. They're just making sure that there's a label on the product, but they're not reading it and they're not approving what can be on that label. The Food and Drug Administration also claims that an ingredient source does not determine its safety. Well, let's just think about that. Let's think about that in like a food way, right? Food and Drug Administration. Do you think that a farm that is run on irrigation water that also is near a sewage plant, right, or a water processing plant, do you think that those are going to be the same quality of ingredients, carrots, tomatoes, whatever's being grown? Do you think those are going to be the same quality of ingredients as a farm that's maybe in the middle of nowhere with nice clean water? Let's say, I don't know, Montana or something like that. That just doesn't make any common sense. So that FDA claim that ingredient source does not determine its safety, that can be debunked with some common sense. The FDA does not define or regulate the term organic. That must be done by the USDA. So you see the stamp on a lot of things, USDA organic. However, that USDA organic certification, that is a voluntary application done by whoever the producer is, so whether it's food or products. That is a voluntary process. It is really in-depth, but they do only require that 95% of the ingredients in that, whatever it is organic. So even in a farm, 95% of what they use on those fruits, vegetables, whatever, is organic. 95% of the feed that they give to those cows and antibiotics and blah, 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 is organic. That's, a 5% margin there, like an extra 5% of something toxic does register in your system. So that USDA organic label, while I do buy organic food, it's not 100%. I totally do recommend buying organic because at least it is 95% organic, and it's not just a Wild West out there of whatever you want sprayed on your fruits and vegetables. Let's save 50 cents at the grocery store and get all this toxic stuff. Obviously, this is a subject that I have a hard time just getting on a soapbox about because it pisses me off. The USDA has no authority over product labeling. So you see how there's like some confusion and a lack of consistency here? The USDA is in charge of labeling what is organic, but they're not in charge of labels. The FDA is in charge of labeling, but they're not reading any of the labels, and they don't have any jurisdiction over what is on those labels and what product claims can be. So basically, there's a big loophole here where no one's being held accountable for anything. It is the responsibility of private companies to seek a USDA certified organic approval, but it's not required. And ingredients listed as fragrance or flavor, so when you see those listed on your ingredients list, those are often protected as trade secrets or patents. So whatever the company is, they're not required to disclose those ingredients to consumers because basically they're secret recipe. And those single words may contain hundreds, if not thousands, of synthetics. So when you see the word fragrance on your laundry detergent, on your dish soap, on obviously, perfume, body lotion, things like that, throw it away. It's those fragrances, that one word is actually hundreds of chemicals that are directly related to endocrine disruption, infertility, brain issues, cancer. Just chuck it. There are 0 testing requirements. If you didn't get that already, there are 0 testing requirements. So with all of this, we see the rise in greenwashing. So now you've kind of gotten to see what greenwashing is. It can also be called the green sheen, and it's a form of spin. It's a marketing spin, where the public relations or the green marketing is deceptively used to promote the perception that an organization's products or their aims or their policies are environmentally friendly. So when you see words like non-toxic, bio, natural, eco, certified green, earth-friendly, chemical-free, these are all some things to look deeper at. Just because it says those words does not mean that they're true. Remember, there's no testing requirements at all. So how are products greenwashed? I love this graphic here because he's just painting the smokestacks of the factory to look like trees. And that's what we're doing with a lot of the products on consumer shelves. So the 7 sins of greenwashing are, number 1, hidden trade-offs. So they may take out BPA, for example, right? Maybe taking BPA out of a plastic product, but they've added in something else that is actually more dangerous or just as dangerous. They have no proof. So they're claiming to be natural, but they're not providing any evidence that they've done that. Being really vague. So terms like we saw on the last slide, like vague, not vague, sorry, natural, bio, eco, or just safe, safe, gentle, right? With the Johnson & Johnson stuff. It's really vague. They're not giving any details about that. Irrelevance. So they may make claims that have nothing to do with anything, right? They may claim to that this is like dolphin friendly. I don't know. This product is dolphin friendly. When there's no interaction with dolphins. It has nothing to do with anything. However, by putting that label on their package, someone is going to think that they're a more reputable, trustworthy company. The lesser of 2 evils. That's the 5th deadly sin. This meaning that, we're not as bad as that other guy, right? So yes, we both did something bad, and yes, neither of us have been trustworthy, but that guy's way worse than we are. We're definitely the better option. When they're both bad, right? We need an alternative. Fibbing is huge. That's a nice way to put it, but it's just straight lie. That's pretty popular. I would say that that's probably the majority of things, is just lying. And then worshiping false labels. You'll see, that UST organic stamp that we saw, that's a real label. B Corp is another label that you'll see that's legitimate. But I've seen many products where they have little logos on them, little icons that look like it's an official stamp of approval from someone, and it's just not. So false labeling is a really big thing. They can just make whatever graphics they want and slap them on a label. Consumers will pay more for organic and green products, which is why the industry is providing them. It's a profit game. Greenwashing allows companies to yield higher profit without actually contributing to the consumer safety or sustainability. They can just charge more for their products, know that people will trust them without actually delivering. This goes more into those 7 sins, but the fluffy language, these are some things to look out for. The fluffy language that doesn't really have clear meaning. Green products versus dirty company. This is a really good thing. Again, back to Johnson & Johnson, right? If they're putting out their natural baby shampoo that's gentle and safe, but that company is still corrupt and we know that they've done bad things 100 million times, do we really trust them? Like if you're in a relationship with a guy who beats you and cheats on you, But he says, no, baby, this time it's for real. Are you going to believe that? No. And your friends are going to try and pull you out. No, don't do that. Don't trust dirty companies. Suggestive pictures. Yes. Lots of green, lots of flowers, lots of leaves. Irrelevant claims. Like saying, we now use, oh my gosh, like the Glade plugins lately. I've seen like Glade or Febreze and how they're like, ooh, now we use essential oils. What are you talking about? Like the rest of it is crap. So just attributing one tiny green thing to your product doesn't actually make it better. Best in class, are you saying that you're the best of all these other pretty terrible companies? We talked about that. It's just not credible. I like this example of like eco-friendly cigarettes. Like, what? That doesn't make any sense. If something has a direct, I'm losing the word here, but when two things just don't make sense together, that's a big red flag. When this is just this gobbledygook, any kind of jargon that's just confusing, they're counting on consumers being confused and going with it. Imaginary friends, a label that looks like a third-party endorsement except it's made up. I was just talking about that. They can put whatever they want on a label. It's graphic design. That's what it is. It's not certifications. No proof. So where's the evidence, right? Are they willing to show their test results? Are they willing to do clinical trials? Are they willing to have third-party testing done on their products and provide those results? And then, of course, just outright lying. Just marketing, just sell. So the rise of informed consumers. Again, the pressure comes to us. If we want safe products in our home, then it's our responsibility. The final responsibility for the safety of household and personal care and cosmetic products falls to the consumer. The number of natural products on the market has increased dramatically over the last decade. And between 2008 and 2009 alone, so that's 10 years ago, there was a 74% increase in new products. And now we know that that's probably doubled at least since then in the last 10 years, because there's been such a push and such a drive in the market for things that are more natural. So one of the thousands of natural products available to consumers, only about 4% are actually considered to be clean. 4%. So we have to really be consistent and look at what's sustainable, what's consistent with their product claims, and what are we really allowing into our homes. So here's some quick tips on what to avoid, right? So you don't have to understand all of the chemical names that are on the back of a label. You really don't. I'm going to give you some quick tips on what to avoid and how to get the information you need to buy safe products. So if it includes fragrance or perfume on the label, it's not for you. It's not for anyone. I highly recommend going through and looking under your kitchen sink, in your bathroom cabinet, on the products you use in your kid's bathroom. If any of them say fragrance or perfume, we have an essential oil alternative that can help with that, or even just, sometimes it's as easy as baking soda and vinegar. So it doesn't always have to be a doTERRA product, but definitely does not need to be something toxic. Anything that has parabens or phthalates, get rid of those. Those are also, parabens are part of fragrance stuff. A lot of the time, you find them in cosmetics. Phthalates, a lot of the time in shampoo. If there's an unspecific ingredients list, like it just says coconut oil or lavender or something like that, that's not a full name. You want to look for Greek and Latin phrases in parentheses after. Oops. Oh, whoa, there we go. You want to look for Greek and Latin written afterwards. Isolated terpenes. So this will look like a chemical name, but it's actually a chemical constituent that's naturally produced in nature. So linalool, limonene. We see linalool in lavender. We see limonene in lemon, lime, a lot of the citruses. Pinene, alpha pinene. If you are familiar with the cannabis industry at all, terpenes are used there for different therapeutic things. However, when we see isolated terpene compound names such as linalool or limonene on product labels, it usually means it is a synthetic, or that it's been pulled and created from a plant. So it's naturally derived, but it's already gone through this laboratory process to separate it from everything else. Because when we see linalool and limonene in essential oils, or when they're naturally in nature, they're not by themselves. They're combined with multiple constituents. Artificial colors, we don't need them. Artificial preservatives, no. So quick ways to just say no to those products. Ask questions, examine the claim, right? Is there a third party that has legitimized the claims of this company? Is it the whole product that's green, or just some of the materials and ingredients? Ask for proof. Is the company willing to provide a copy of the environmental standard for its testing protocol? Are they transparent? That's the biggest thing. Do they have secrets? And no, we want someone who's transparent about it, so that we know what we're consuming. And then, does it address the product's life cycle as a larger environmental effects, right? It may be safe for us to consume, but what is the after? Then what happens? Is the creation of that product dumping into rivers? Is it killing the bees? I don't know. But what's going on that has a larger impact besides our own health impact? Check for consistency. Are they selling the same product here as in the UK? That would be a great comparison. If the United States has a different formula than the UK, I would automatically distrust that company. The UK has way higher standards, way higher standards than the United States. We're like in kindergarten and they're in college. Follow the money. What organizations is the company supporting? Who are they donating their money to? Again, I know I just know a lot about Johnson & Johnson, but like I said, they're contributing to Big Pharma. They're directly investing in cancer drugs and infertility treatments because they create those issues. So they're creating those issues, and they're gaining profit from consumers buying things for their babies. And then when those babies grow up and have cancer, they're also benefiting from those drugs. These are the best. These are the best tools. Just put it on your phone. These are easy ways to be an informed consumer. First of all, when you've done the research and you find a brand that meets your standards, love them. Be loyal to them. So in the bottom corner here, I have that CPTG stamp. That's doTERRA's certified pure therapeutic grade mark. And because they're beyond organic. I love doTERRA. I started out wanting lavender and lemon, and now my house has doTERRA everywhere. It's all in my shower, and it's all under my kitchen sink. And I use a lot of their products, like all of their products, to have a non-toxic house. So I love them. I love Beauty Counter. They're where I get all of my clean makeup from. Norwex is another great brand. So here's some apps. Download the EWG's Healthy Living app. If you have an iPhone, it's called Think Dirty. But either way, if you just look up EWG, that means the Environmental Working Group. The Environmental Working Group's Healthy Living app is super great because you can type in what you're looking for, or if you're at the store, like I was looking for hairspray a few weeks ago, and I was able to just scan the product labels, and it will pull up the toxicity report and let you know, 0 to 2, it's, green zone, it's very low hazard, all the way up to 7 to 10, and the red zone are the high hazard. And then it tells you why it's ranked that toxicity and what the ingredients of concern are. If it doesn't come up in the Healthy Living app, there's another app called Ingrid. I don't know if it's Ingrid or Ingrid, but that app allows you to just take a picture of the ingredient label all the way, and it will read through the ingredients list and then give you a toxicity report and then tell you which ingredients are of concern so that you can make an informed decision. So these are my favorite apps, and I recommend everyone have them on their phone and just use them all the time. It's going to help you know what's good. Together we rise. That's always my motto. The more I know, the more I'll share with others. The more you know, the more you'll share with others, and the better decisions we can make all together. And hopefully we can change this system that we're in, so that not so much the pressures on consumers, and we can start holding companies accountable for providing safe products to consumers. Thank you all. I hope that was helpful and gave you some insight into greenwashing and why I've chosen the brands that I chose and why I preach what I do. Because there's a lot to look out for out there. So hope this was helpful. Of course, if you ever have any questions, give me a call, send me a message, send me an email. My name's Jennifer Sandoval. You can find me online, Facebook at Oils Live Well Free, or on Instagram at Live Well Live Free. And I look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day.